Hey guys, looks like it's beer 30. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. This beer comes to me from Brandon. He sent this to me. This is Deep Ellum Brewing. This is the barrel aged cherry chocolate double brown stout. Just the name sounds wonderful. And I left the box. He sent me the box along in the beer mail package, along with the beer. And I put the box up there so y'all can see how it's packaged. And I'll spin this around so you'll actually see what the box looks like. Anytime they put these beers, this solid beer, in a box like this, it adds to the cost. So I would not be afraid to say this is a 15, 20, maybe even $25 bottle of beer, I'm not sure. These guys are out of Dallas, Texas. So the packaging, I mean, this box probably cost them a couple of dollars just to put the beer bottle in. But it's a nice little touch, but it just adds to the cost of the beer in my opinion. Just my opinion though. But a very nice box. It costs a lot of money for them to have this kind of box printed up to put the bottle in. And each bottle goes in there. They have to have somebody to put each bottle in this box and fold the top, and you know, that's man hours, that's labor, that's cost, and that adds to the price of the beer. So, I saved this. I wanted y'all to see what the box looks like that it came in. And Brandon, thanks for sending the box along, just so I could show everybody what the actual box looks like. Very nice, writing all the way around. Very similar to what like Barstone Walker does with their parabola and some of their other ones that they do. They have the boxes printed up and they put the beers in the box, and it's cost. That's money. So to me, my opinion, just my opinion, this kind of stuff is unnecessary. All we need is a bottle with a great beer inside, and this is a silkscreen bottle. It's not a label, so they paid extra to have this bottle specially produced for this beer to go in, instead of having a stick-on paper label or whatever. So let's get on with this one. I'm looking forward to this. And on the front, as you can see, it says 2016 barrel aged, and on the back it's got a silkscreen cherry on the back of the bottle, and on the front here, of course, it says cherry chocolate double brown stout, Deep Ellum Brewing. Got a big set of pink lips, very similar to the red lips that you would see on anything the Rolling Stones does, but it's got a big pink set of lips down here on the bottle. So very nice, very pricey looking package for the silkscreen bottle and the paper cardboard box that the beer comes in. So that's just adds cost to the beer, in my opinion. I just want to throw that out. Alright, let's get on with this one. This, according to what I have here, I've got two different things from Beer Advocate and Rate Beer on the ABV. Let's see what it says here. It says 10.3% on the back of this, and that's what Rate Beer has got. Beer Advocate's got 8%, so that's wrong. And they may have done this before, and each year it may be a different ABV. Because the picture I have from Beer Advocate's got a different picture, so it doesn't have this silkscreen bottle picture. And actually, Rate Beer doesn't have a picture on it. And I will tell you, it doesn't have a rating on it. It says it doesn't have enough people giving reviews on the beer to produce a rating on it. So, but like I told you on yesterday's beer and another beer reviews, I'm going to tell you what I personally think no matter what Great Beer or Beer Advocate says, I'll either agree or disagree with what they say. I'm going to give you my honest opinion, no matter what anybody else has said or what I've heard. That's just the way it is. Whether I like it or don't like it, I will tell you. And even though Brandon bought this beer and sent it to me, if I think it's a subpar beer, I'm going to tell you that. It's not to hurt his feelings or anybody else's feelings that send me beers. I'm just going to give an honest opinion of what I think it is. So, but usually when you have a box like this and a silk screen bottle, they know what they've got, and it usually ends up being a tasty beer. But let's see where this one ends up. So let's get on with this. Commercial description on this says aged for 11 months and 100% barrel strength. That means it's a fresh barrel. It hasn't had beer in it before. This is the first beer of our 2016 barrel program. We selected barrels with lush oak and rich chocolate notes. Once out of the barrels, we fermented with more cherries. So after they take it out of there, they re-ferment it with additional cherries. The resulting beer is layered with deep cherry fruit embellished by rich malt, bittersweet chocolate, and toasted almonds finished in bourbon. That just sounds delicious to me. And the price probably of the bottle and the packaging will reflect that. I mean, once they figured out, oh man, we got a winner here, we got a top-notch beer there, that price will reflect that. So, let's see what we get. I cannot get these guys' beers here in Virginia. Probably pretty easy to get in Texas, I would think. So, Brandon, thanks again, my brother, for sending me this beer. It looks pretty impressive with the packaging and what I've read on it, so let's see where it ends up, in my opinion. Alright, we've gone through that. The food pairings for this style of beer says cheese is buttery, brie good, a Havarti Swiss, and since it is a stout, it goes well with your chocolate dishes, of course. And the meat is beef, smoked meat, game, and grilled meat. Glassware, pint, becker, non tumbler, snifter, oversized wine glass. My favorite glass. I mean, guys, y'all might get sick of me using the same glass over and over and over and over, but I'm sorry. This is my favorite glass, and the style of this glass really brings out the aromas and the tulip shape. It enhances the beer profile for me to do a really good beer review and get a good nose on it, and I like, and it's a heavy duty glass. I mean, it's just as heavy duty as any pint glass. And you know, most pint glasses are pretty thick walled, because a lot of bars use them over and over and over and over again. This is the same for this glass here. Not a cheap glass, but a very well built glass. Will last you a lifetime if you take care of it and don't drop it on a concrete floor. So, it says here, the beer can be sold for a long period of time. I would agree 100%. I could probably end up selling this beer for 1, 2, 3, 5, maybe even 10 years or even longer, being a 10.3%er. I don't know if the cherries would fade over time or not, but Brandon spent his hard-earned money on this, especially with this packaging that this beer comes in. Not a cheap beer, I am sure. So, once again, Brandon, thank you, sir. I do appreciate it. I know this was not a cheap beer. I hope it lives up to the price and the packaging. So let's get on with it, guys. I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about, so let's pop the cap on this puppy. Stop talking and start pouring. Big hiss. Very carbonated. Very impressed with the amount of carbonation on the popping of the cap. So I hope it's not overcarbonated. It's not gushing out, but I'm hoping it's not overcarbonated. And usually for 10.3% now, it is kind of carbonated. I'm going to pour this very easy. I'm not going to go down the center, guys, because I don't want 5 fingers of head. And for a 10.3%er, pouring down the side of the glass, a good finger, maybe a finger and a quarter head on this pour. Down the side of the glass, not down the center. So, maybe just this wee bit overcarbonated for a 10.3%. Usually don't get that on stout of this ABV. Usually don't get that big of a hiss when I pop the cap on an imperial stout, especially one that's been aged in bourbon. bourbon barrels, but they re-fermented this after they come out of the bourbon barrels with additional yeast and cherries, more than likely. So, over to the light, I am not getting any at all, guys. It is pitch black. It's very, very dark. Good finger of head, and just sticking around too. Very creamy, khaki colored on top, almost looks like yogurt on the top. Very creamy on top. And like I said, it's still sticking around. It's not going, that head is not going anywhere. Oh, that's what she said. Oh! Let's get a nose on it. Definitely getting the cherries there, guys. Slight hints of bourbon. Dark fruit. Maybe some hints of bittersweet chocolate. Definitely getting the cherries. That smells wonderful. Look at the head. I mean, it is not going anywhere. And a lot of bubbles streaming up. I can see them reinforcing the head on the sides of the glass here, even though it's a really dark beer. A lot of bubbles streaming up. And I knew that when I popped the cap and I got that big hiss. I knew it was well carbonated. It's time. Let's get it on. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Brandon. Thank you, my brother. Getting some oakiness in there too. Maybe a little bit of woodiness from the oak barrels. To me, the cherries are more of a tart cherry than a super sweet cherry, like a maraschino cherry or something. Not super sweet. Wow, that's good though. Definitely getting the cherry influence on this beer. Definitely getting the cherries. And like I said, on the bottle here, it's got chocolate double brown stout, cherry. Definitely getting the cherries, getting a little bit of the barrel, the woodiness. Not so much coconut. The chocolate, the cherries, the bourbon, and hints of some dark fruit is what I'm getting. And it's cold right out of the fridge, about 40 degrees. So, as we always do, we're going to let it warm up to room temperature and sip on it for just a little while. And this is a sipper. I mean, it's almost 11%, 10.3% on this beer. So, a nice sipper. And that's what I tend to do. Might sip out on the deck and fire up a stogie to go with this and sip on it for about 45 minutes. Let it come up to room temperature and enjoy this. This is definitely a sipper, guys. Not something you want to drink in 5, 10, 15 minutes. You want to enjoy this, especially for something that I'm sure that probably costs $15 to $25 for the packaging that I'm seeing here. You want to enjoy it. You want to savor every little sip. That's what I intend to do. So, and like I said, this is a 22-ounce bomber, enough to pour her a glass and let her enjoy some too. And I'll be right back after I sip on this for about 45 minutes, and we'll see where it ends up. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. I've been sipping on about 45 minutes. I had a nice cigar to go with this. Let it warm up to room temperature. Been sipping on it. Very tasty. Now that it's warmed up, I am getting the cherries. I'm getting the bourbon. I'm getting some molasses, some candied sugar, some dark fruit in there, figs, dates, raisins, plums. Very well made, very nice, very tasty beer. Got the ABV on the back of the bottle. This is a silk screen bottle. This has been printed for this particular beer. And the box has been printed for this particular beer, which, like I said, adds cost to the beer. I can't think of anything that I would change on this beer. It is very, very tasty. It's got a nice, it's not, like I said earlier, it's not like a super sweet maraschino cherry taste. It's, to me, it's more like a black cherry, tart cherry. It's not super sweet from the cherry aspect, but I am getting a lot of sweetness from the candied sugar or molasses or the malt in this beer. So very nice. I enjoyed it. Wonderful aroma. The bourbon is not overwhelming. It's not off the chain like a lot of the bourbon barrel beers are. Once they took it out of the barrels and re-fermented it with the cherries, that probably knocked down some of the bourbon aspects of it. But it is there. I do detect it. I'm not getting a lot of coconut, but I am getting some of the bourbon and the woodiness, the oakiness, if that's a word, from the beer. Final chug. The cherries aren't super sweet to me. I'm getting more of the sweetness from the malt and from the candied sugar or molasses or something in there. But very tasty. Not super sweet like a barley wine or a lot of the milk stouts or a lot of the barley wines that are super sweet on the back end. This is not super sweet. But it does have a nice sweet back end, but it's not super sweet. Very tasty. To me, guys, 9 out of 10 on this one. Very tasty. I do think the silkscreen bottle and the cardboard box adds a lot to the cost of the beer, which is, it's for their advertisement and for their eye appeal, if you will, on the shelf. Oh, it's in a box. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good beer. It is a good beer. It is a great beer, but I think all this stuff adds to the cost of the beer, which is unnecessary. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. It's very tasty. 9 out of 10. If I was giving this a rate, it would probably be 98. That's where I would put it. Very tasty. I would like to see them put. It's got 2016 silkscreen on the bottle, so we know it's this year's edition, and it's got the ABV on the back. I would like to see the IBUs, just for me, just because I like to know what it is. But it's very tasty, very well made, very, very nice beer. Over to Beer Advocate, they say 85 in a very good range. I think that number is considerably low. I think it's at least 10 points, if not more, better than that. It's a great beer. I mean, I don't know why they would say 85 on a beer like this. Very tasty. I do think the cherries are a little more tart than they should be and could be sweeter, like a maraschino cherry, to add some sweetness to the beer. I don't think it's as sweet as it could be or should be for this style of beer. For a, like the bottle says, it's a chocolate double brown stout aged in bourbon barrels. So, it's just my 2 cents. Some other people may say, "Oh, you're crazy. It's a 10 beer." I wouldn't argue with that. I will not argue with that. But if you say, "Oh man, this is a shitty beer," I will argue with that. I think it's a pretty tasty beer. Over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer doesn't have a score, guys. There are some ratings. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people have commented on this beer, and that's not enough for them to give it a grade. So, to me, I'm on my own on this one. I can compare both of the ratings from both sites. I think it's an A beer, guys. I really, really do. So with that being said, if you've had this one from Deep Ellum Brewing, this is their barrel-aged cherry chocolate double brown stout. I don't know what the double brown is for. They could let that out and say barrel-aged cherry stout, and it would be just the same thing as a double brown. What's the double brown about? So, with that being said, if you've had this one from Deep Ellum, let me know what you think of it. I thought it was pretty tasty. I think of what they've done on the bottle and what they've done on the box is added cost to the beer, which is just a little bit on the price gouging, but I don't know what Brandon paid for this. Brandon, you may post in the comments what this beer actually costs off the shelf. But I do think that packaging adds a little bit of cost to the beer, which is unnecessary. They could just as easily put that up on there, but they're probably pretty proud of it. And being in a bourbon barrel for a little while before they re-fermented it with the cherries adds cost to the beer. So I guess they figured they could stick it in that box and get a little bit more money for it. So with that being said, if you've had it, let me know what you think, guys. I loved it. It's pretty tasty. Not quite to the 10, but it is pretty close. So I like to see a little more sweetness on the back end than what I'm getting on this beer. But it's tasty. Very, very tasty. I enjoyed it. Thanks, Brandon. I do appreciate it, sir. And come on back tomorrow, guys. Let's go see what we can dig out of the fridge. See you then.